Julia Roberts is the most famous female actress in Hollywood and a very pretty woman. She is known for having the perfect smile. Her movies have made more than $3 billion at the US box office, making her the biggest female star of all time. I'm going to talk about her life in this movie, including what might be slowing her down today. At that time, Betty Lou Berdemus and Grady Roberts were married and very happy. In the Theater for the U.S. Armed Forces, they met and got married in 1955. Both of Julia's parents used to act and write plays. Their family tree shows that Julia Roberts has Irish, German, Scottish, Welsh, English, and Swedish roots. Julia Roberts has known artists since she was very little. People in her family helped to start the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop. Besides that, they ran a school for kids to learn how to act in Decatur, Georgia. Martin Luther King Jr.'s children were among the famous kids they taught. Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife, Coretta Scott King, paid for Julia's mother's hospital bills while she was pregnant because she taught the King children singing. Julia Roberts was born because of that situation. Julia was brought up as a Christian because both of her parents were Christians. Her dad was a Baptist and her mom was a Catholic. Her dad was a Baptist. Her mom was a Catholic. Julie had 3 other siblings, but only her older brother Eric Roberts and her older sister Lisa Roberts Gillen shared both of her parents. It just so happens that both of those brothers are actors as well. As the saying goes, nothing lasts forever. It was 1971 when Julia's mom asked for a divorce. Since they were no longer married, Julia moved in with her mother in Smyrna, Georgia. No matter what their position was, her parents made sure she had a good education. First, she went to Fitzhugh Lee Elementary School, and then she went to Griffin High School for high school. After that, she went to Campbell High School. Julie was in the school band and played the clarinet. She went to Georgia State University, but dropped out to become an actress. She went to New York and signed with the modeling agency Click, and started taking acting lessons. Julia's father died of cancer when she was only 10 years old, and her mother, Betty Lou, married Michael Motes again in 1972. She was in a bad relationship because it was very abusive. She had to split up with Michael in 1983 because of it. In fact, they did have a daughter. Nancy, Julia's half-sister, died of a drug overdose in 2014. You can see right away that Julia Roberts has been through a lot of bad things. To get what she wanted, she had to keep going. Come with me as I talk about how her work went from beginning to end. Roberts' parents were actors and ran an acting workshop, but Julia Roberts had never been taught or done any acting before she moved to New York. Even though she signed with a modeling firm, she still couldn't find any work. She got her first acting job because her brother Eric Roberts helped her get it. She got to play his sister in a theater play set in the late 1800s. It was called Blood Red. Once she finished that part, she got some TV parts that led to the lead role in the 1988 movie Mystic Pizza. After this, things started to move faster, but her big break came when she was cast in the 1989 movie Steel Magnolias. A lot of well-known actors like Sally Field, Shirley MacLaine, and Olympia Dukakis were in this movie. She was even nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for her part in this movie. Julia Roberts has been in a lot of movies, some of which are better known than others. Here are some of her most well-known works. Let's start with Petty Woman, which is the one she is most famous for. The movie is from 1990 and is a love comedy. She played a prostitute who was dating a business tycoon. Richard Gere played the businessman. This turned out to be a huge hit, and now people all over the world know her name. It also got her a second Oscar nomination, and people chose her as their favorite actress for that part. It turned out that her fans loved her a lot when she was in romantic movies. During the 1990s, Julia was in a lot of movies. She played the lead role in 6 movies: My Best Friend's Wedding, Something to Talk About, Sleeping with the Enemy, and Stepmom. She also played 2 very well-known parts in the 1999 movies Notting Hill and Runaway Bride. Roberts made a record $20 million for her lead part in Erin Brockovich. The movie was based on the true story of a law clerk who helped the people of a California town settle their lawsuit against a utility company for a lot of money. Their drinking water was polluted by the company, which caused serious health issues. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for this role. Julia's most well-known parts were in Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12, which came out in 2001 and 2004, respectively. A list stars like Bernie Mac, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Matt Damon were also in these hit movies. Roberts began to do parts in animated shows and on Broadway in 2006. In the movie Charlotte's Web, she did the character of the spider Charlotte. In her Broadway debut, 3 Days of Rain, she shared the lead role with Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper. No, she didn't change lanes when she branched out. She was in Charlie Wilson's War with Tom Hanks in 2007. The movie was based on real war stories. The next few years saw her in a string of movies including Fireflies in the Garden, Duplicity, and Valentine's Day. Julia Roberts became famous after the 2010 movie Eat, Pray, Love. If you haven't seen it yet, Eat, Pray, Love is based on Elizabeth Gilbert's best-selling true story. Then, in 2013, Roberts worked with Meryl Streep on the movie August, Osage County. Roberts was up for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress because of her role in that movie. That wasn't all she did. She has also been in a lot of other movies like Mother's Day and Money Monster. It wasn't just Charlotte's Web that she worked on. In 2017, she did voice work for both Smurfs and Wonder. In 2018, she played her first part on TV as a therapist in the show Homecoming. In the show Ben is Back, she played a mother. She made another show in 2022 called Gaslit. In her most recent big hit, Ticket to Paradise, she worked with Clooney again. In this romantic comedy, Julia and Clooney, who are separated, try to stop the wedding of their daughter. In what ways have the public, her friends, and movie buffs praised and awarded her great work? Stay put. I'm going to talk about that now. Many times, Julia Roberts has been recognized for and won awards for her great work in movies and TV shows. 4 times she has been nominated for an Academy Award. At the 73rd Academy Awards, she got the award for Best Actress. This was given to her because of how well she played Erin Brockovich. For that role, she also won a BAFTA, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. For her great roles in Steel Magnolias and Pretty Woman, Roberts also won 2 Golden Globes. Even as she got older, Julia Roberts kept building herself and her business. She was able to start her own production company, Shoelace Productions, in 2000. Red Home Films is now the name of Shoelace Productions. Forbes magazine named Julia one of the wealthiest women in show business in 2007. Julia Roberts has spent a lot of time in her work doing good things for people who don't have much. There are many charitable groups that she has worked with, such as the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund and UNICEF. It was so nice of her to voice the documentary In the Wild Orangutans with Julia Roberts to bring attention to endangered species of wildlife. In 1998, this happened. Her next film was called Wild Horses of Mongolia. In 2000, that happened. For this one, she went to Mongolia and spent a few weeks living with nomads. It was given to both Julia and her husband Danny Moder as a Jeals and Respect Award in 2014. Because they did work for free, they got this. Julia has helped UNICEF and many other good causes by giving a lot of money. She went to Port-au-Prince, Haiti in 1995. The goal of this trip was to help UNICEF get about $10 million in gifts. Place a dot. The company hired her to be a spokesperson for Earth Biofuels and to lead its newly formed advisory board. Sustainable energy should be used more, which is why this project was started. In 2013, she worked with Gucci on a program called Chime for Change to help women gain more power. For example, she read aloud for a program about Rett syndrome to bring attention to a good cause, and making people more aware of climate change by playing Mother Nature in a movie. Julia has a private life when she's not working, just like every other woman. Because she was an actress, her relationships didn't stop. She's been married 3 times and has 3 kids. Stay put. I'm going to tell you more about that now. Lyle Lovett, a country musician, was her first husband. They got married quickly and secretly in June 1993. They got engaged 3 weeks after they began dating. They were married for only 5 years, from 1993 to 1995. A lot of people think Julia met Lovett on the 1992 set of The Player. That wasn't true. Roberts said that she and Lovett met through friends they both had. There are rumors that she liked his songs before they met. She was 25 and he was 35 years old when they got married. Numerous people believe that their jobs caused their marriage to end because they had to spend so much time apart. They did seem to put in a lot of work as husband and wife, though. Lyle said that since they got married, they hadn't gone more than a week without seeing each other. Even though they rented a house together in Los Angeles, they kept their homes separate. Lyle's was in Texas, and hers was in New York City. In March 1995, the couple, who was having a hard time, chose to split up by putting out a joint statement in the Washington Post. They said they were still friends and would support each other. Julie said she would never think of their marriage as a mistake, because it led to so many good things. She told the news source that they had a great time together and that nothing bad ever happened. What they did wasn't even close to a mistake. In almost 10 years since the end of her first marriage, Julia Roberts got married again. This time she got married to Daniel Moder, a photographer. In 2002, they got married. 3 children were born from this marriage: Hazel Moder, Finn Moder, and Henry Moder. They've been married for more than 20 years, but things may have reached a breaking point. It looks like they are living different lives right now. Some people think they are even going to get a very expensive divorce. How did things get this bad? How did things get so bad in a marriage of more than 20 years with 3 kids? If you want to know, keep watching. This was reported by Life and Style in 2018. The couple was fighting over everything, including how Julia liked to be in charge of everything. They have different ways of raising their kids, and Danny feels like he lives in Julia's shadow. Roberts has stepped back in the past to focus on her family, but her husband has always thought that she still puts her job ahead of his. He doesn't like this at all. In 2020, Julia tried to make a big change for her family. They raised their 3 kids in Malibu for a while, but she thought it was time to buy the family a house in San Francisco that was over 100 years old. She didn't care that Danny didn't want this. She didn't want her kids to go to school with spoiled Hollywood kids, but with the kids of tech billionaires. Danny really didn't want to move because he knows everyone, everything in LA. He agreed and did what he needed to do to make Julia happy because she wouldn't accept no. Julie pushed her husband and kids to move, but it didn't work out. Danny hated living in San Francisco so much. He was so far away from the action in Hollywood after the move that it was killing his career. It was even worse that he missed his surfing friends. He didn't like the weather or the vibe of the place in general. The man was ready to go back. He didn't care if his wife liked the idea of going or not. It was Danny's turn to get it. He tried San Francisco, but things weren't going well for them. She wasn't happy with how things were going, and it was making their marriage worse. Because of this, she had to really think about their marriage and everything going on. In the end, they chose to move back to Los Angeles together. In October of that year, they sold their house in San Francisco. Henry, their youngest boy, turned 16 in the same year. The twins, Hazel and Finn, who are older, turned 19. Moving to San Francisco was a bad idea, but it wasn't the only thing that destroyed their marriage. What else might have been bad for them? What could it be that they can't get past? Everything is about to be shown. Julia and Danny are not alike at all. Most of the time, Danny sticks to what he does. He has his habits. It's mostly the same people he sees every day at work and for fun. They've been his friends for years and visit him often. This is not the same Julia Roberts. You should know that she doesn't hang out with many people. Roberts likes to stay home more often. It's her favorite thing to do. Things get worse. Julia doesn't really like Danny's family or friends. She stays away from them because of this. Daniel usually doesn't bring Julia with him when he hangs out with his friends. Even Mo is there. Julia does not like that Danny's sister stays friends with his first wife. Things have always been tense about it. These are the main problems Julia Roberts is having with her love life. In spite of everything, she loves her husband and doesn't want their marriage to end. However, it's a lot, especially when she thinks about all the other bad things going on in her life. What could be worse than this then? Wait a minute, I'm about to get into them. Many mean people said mean things about Julia Roberts on social media after she shared a picture of the two of them playing cards at the kitchen table. It made Julia sad that so many people talked about how bad they thought she looked in the picture. A lot of people said she wasn't aging well when they saw her in simple clothes and without any makeup or studio lights. People were so mean that they said she looked like a man and that she shouldn't have shared that picture. All the mean things people said about Julia made her feel sad and hurt. It hurt her a lot. There was no way for her to understand how people could miss how sweet and happy the picture was. She said that everything that happened made her think about hits and likes. She thinks that the whole system is bad for you and has given her a lot of ideas about what it's like to be young in this world. I need to tell you one more terrible truth about Julia Roberts. Let me tell you about the most important thing that changed her life. Behind all of her success, on and off film, it's important to know that the famous actor is in bad health. Because of thrombocytopenic purpura, Julia Roberts has been sick for almost 20 years. This is a very uncommon blood problem. This is a very bad blood problem that causes dangerous blood clots to form in small blood vessels all over the body. Danny, her husband, told her about the signs. Danny saw that she had some strange bruises on her body. He was scared, so he told her to see a doctor to make sure everything was okay. Some tests were done, and the results were shocking. People with thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura had it. What does this mean for the star? What will she do with all of this bad news and events? Julia has always been strong, and she has been through a lot of bad things. But only time will tell.